What's up, guys? Just got back from the beach with my friends and my pup. I'm gonna show you guys my nighttime routine. I'm gonna take you guys with me all night tonight. It's about 4:45 right now. I'm gonna show you how I make dinner, the things I'm thinking about with my food, what kind of nutrients in that food are supporting my sleep, the timing of my food, all these little things I'm doing tonight as part of my nighttime routine to support good quality sleep. I'm gonna show you my red lights. You guys are not gonna believe. At the end of the video, I'm gonna show you this one thing I do, this hack right before I go to sleep that makes a huge difference, but I bet you're not doing it. I'm gonna show you my hygiene routine, how I brush my teeth and do all the things and all the weird stuff right before I go to sleep. None of it's really that weird, but there are a lot of things I do as my nighttime routine that are very intentional to set up my best night of sleep. And when I have a good night of sleep, I feel better the next morning. So it's all very calculated. Obviously, there's some room in there for occasional fluctuation. Maybe I'm out with friends at a party or a bonfire, but on a normal night, this is about how it looks. Like I said, I just got back from the beach, kind of watching the sun go down with my friends, and now it's time to go make some dinner because I eat dinner always 2 to 3 hours before I go to sleep. So I'm gonna show you guys dinner, the kind of foods I'm eating, and give you a sense of the time throughout this whole night. You're gonna learn a lot from this video, and hopefully you can emulate some of these things to improve your nighttime routine, to improve your sleep. Come on, let's go. So the first thing that I think about with my nighttime routine is the timing of my dinner. I always aim to finish eating dinner about 2.5 hours before I go to sleep. So I usually go to sleep at about 8:30, maybe 8:15 sometimes. And that's because I get up at around 5 a.m. or sometimes 4:45 to go surf here in Costa Rica. So I'm trying to give myself 2.5 hours from when I take that last bite of food to when I'm trying to go to sleep. And as you'll see, I'm gonna be in my bed for about 30 minutes even prior to going to sleep, just chilling out and winding down. But there's a lot between then and now. So let's go make some dinner. Again, we'll put the time on the screen. You can see what time it is. It's a little before 5 o'clock now. I'm gonna make some food. I'm gonna eat that food. I'm gonna show you what kind of foods I'm making and the nutrients in those foods that are supporting good quality sleep. The kind of things I'm not gonna eat for dinner, like chocolate or caffeine or any of this other stuff. I don't even drink coffee, you guys know this, but I definitely wouldn't drink coffee later in the day. And we're gonna go from there. So let's go make some food and have some dinner and get started with this nighttime routine. Okay, so like I said, it's right around 5 o'clock. I'm aiming to finish eating 2.5 hours before I go to sleep. So I wanna finish eating before 6 p.m. tonight. You can adjust these based on when you're going to sleep. And this is a pretty typical dinner for me. I'm gonna have grass-fed ground beef. It's 80/20 from a local farm. I'm gonna make a burger on the grill. I've got some squash that I cooked the other day. I love squash. It's a fruit, guys. You might think it's a vegetable, but it's a fruit. I have a lot of fruit during the day. I have watermelon. I had some cantaloupe today. And at night, I generally just prefer squash. I'm gonna make a smoothie, which I do a few times a day. I got some raw milk, got some glyphosate-free honey from Lineage Provisions. That's a company that I built. I'm super proud of what we do there. In case you guys didn't see, we also have a creatine, the best protein powder on the planet. That's not for dinner. I do creatine in the morning. You can see the morning routine, which is a separate video on YouTube. And I'll throw in some frozen blueberries, which are organic to the smoothie. At nighttime, I might even put some collagen in my smoothie. So there's definitely glycine in this ground beef. One of the things I like about ground beef is it has more collagen, it has more connective tissue, and there's a lot of glycine and collagen, but we know that getting amino acids like glycine helps your body cool itself actually, and helps your brain prepare for sleep. So you didn't know this, but ground beef is actually a food that improves the quality of your sleep. Honey's actually been shown to improve sleep quality, and tryptophan, which is an amino acid found in milk, is a precursor for melatonin, which can improve your sleep. Now, this is an important moment to also point out that your nighttime routine almost starts in the morning because you're getting morning sunlight in the morning, and that sets up your circadian rhythm. Your production of melatonin is something that's engaged with your circadian clock for the whole day. So I'm gonna sleep better at night when I get out first thing in the morning into the sunlight, and that has to do with melatonin production all day long in my brain. And if you've listened to my podcast, you know that we also make melatonin and all of the mitochondria of our whole body when we're exposed to infrared light. That's one of the reasons I love being in Costa Rica. I'll skin a cucumber. I take the seeds out. That's also a fruit, in case you didn't know. And then coconut water has magnesium in it, a good amount of magnesium in coconut water, another thing that can help with sleep. So there are a lot of foods that can help promote your sleep. There are foods that can disturb your sleep also. Processed sugars, which I would call naked sugars. I'm not worried about the sugar in honey. That's beneficial for humans because it's in the whole package of the honey. I'm not worried about lactose in milk. I'm not worried about the complex carbohydrates in this squash, but a processed sugar at night could definitely mess with your sleep. I'm not a fan of seed oils any time of the day. You'll never see seed oils in my home at all, unless I'm filming a reel about how much I despise seed oils. But the big one for a lot of people is probably caffeine or even chocolate. So chocolate contains theobromine, which is a methylxanthine like caffeine in coffee. I would not eat chocolate at night. I would not do matcha at night. I would not do cacao at night. That will definitely mess with your sleep architecture. And if you're going to do coffee, don't do coffee anywhere near sleep. The half-life of caffeine is about 5 hours. It takes 4.5 half-lives for a compound to get out of your system, which means that if you drink coffee at noon and you go to sleep at 10 p.m., there's still a quarter of the caffeine from that cup of coffee at noon in your system when you go to sleep. Say you drink a cup of coffee at noon, 200 milligrams of caffeine at noon, there's still 50 milligrams of caffeine in your system, which can interrupt, which can disturb your sleep architecture when you go to sleep at 10 p.m. I don't drink coffee at all. If you like coffee, if it's a part of your routine, go for something that's mold-free, that's pesticide-free, go for a high-quality coffee, and don't drink it near your sleep. Definitely don't drink it more than, I would say, don't drink it less than 10 hours before you go to sleep. But I'm very careful about that kind of stuff. Some people might say they have to eat closer to bed because they're gonna be hungry. Look, if you're eating a full animal-based dinner, find your sweet spot, but I think between 2 and 3 hours before you go to sleep, if you're eating protein and fat and carbohydrates, maybe even a little bit of fiber with the squash, you're not gonna be hungry when you're going to sleep. So it's not the end of the world if you wanna have a little bit of like a nightcap, like a little bit of milk right before you go to sleep, but eating a big meal before you go to sleep is definitely going to interfere with your sleep architecture. The other thing to know is that alcohol messes with your sleep. So having a nightcap, a drink, that's going to interfere with your sleep architecture unquestionably. You are going to sleep better with no alcohol in your life. I don't drink alcohol at all. I think alcohol is just worthless for humans. Even as little as 1 drink average per day, 7 drinks per week has been shown to thin the neocortex of the human brain. So you're basically having negative consequences in your brain by drinking as little as 1 drink per night. Drinking at night is definitely affecting your sleep negatively, as will marijuana, guys. So I don't smoke marijuana, I don't smoke cigarettes. I've smoked 1.5 cigarettes in my whole life. That's a story for a separate day. But marijuana will also disrupt your sleep architecture. And the cannabinoids in marijuana have been shown to decrease testosterone. So if morning wood is important to you, which it should be to all of us guys, and to the women that we are with or whatever, cannabis, not good for sleep, and it's gonna lower your androgens. So I'm not a fan of weed at all. That's a subject for a separate video. Time to eat some dinner. So people always ask me how you open the coconut. You can see there are 3 eyes here. And one of these, it's like a game, is soft. So you can play a game with yourself. I have a metal straw. This is how I open coconuts on plane, guys. You can take a coconut like this on a plane. You might not have known this. You can bring fresh coconut water on a plane, even though it's liquid and it's more than 3.5 ounces. You bring a metal straw like this, TSA lets it through, and then you can just press the straw into the coconut. There you go. This is one of my favorite things about being in Costa Rica is there's lots of these. These are called pipas, and they're about 75 cents each in Costa Rica. I know at Whole Foods you're paying $5 for this, but that's why I live in Costa Rica. So I got my magnesium-rich coconut with my metal straw. I got my smoothie with raw milk. I got my squash. I got my cucumber. I'm just gonna finish the burger and throw some salt on it. Right now I'm using Diamond Crystal kosher salt. There was a recent analysis of salts, and this one actually looked pretty good in terms of heavy metals. I want to repeat that heavy metal analysis of salts with my Animal-Based Nutrition Research Foundation, abnrf.org. So I'll keep you guys posted about the results of that. We're doing analysis of seed oils, analysis of salt and heavy metals, and ABNRF is sponsoring a gathering here in Costa Rica. So I want to see you guys in Costa Rica, Memorial Day weekend. All the proceeds go to benefit the nonprofit. Come hang out at my pool. We're gonna go swimming in the ocean. We're gonna surf. It's gonna be amazing. I'll see you guys in Costa Rica in May, but that's the salt that I'm using, long story short. After dinner, I like to go out, take a little walk. I got a dirt road out here outside of my house in Costa Rica. I'm usually barefoot in Costa Rica, but this hurts to walk on barefoot. So this is the one point at which I might put on shoes, but a little bit of light movement, a little bit of light walking after I eat helps me feel like my food is digesting a little bit easier. It doesn't feel great to eat a bunch of food and then just sit in my house. So I'll do maybe a 15-minute walk outdoors. Hopefully I've got some friends or somebody to go walking with. Maybe I'll take my dog, but he's out exploring right now on his own. So yeah, a little light walk for 10 or 15 minutes after dinner helps with digestion. And then I'm back to the house and I'm sort of winding down. The next step in my nighttime routine is thinking about the light. As the sun is setting, I'm going to be turning on my red lights when I need lights. I don't use any lights at night that are not red lights. So you'll see as I get back to the house and the sun starts to set that all of my red lights come on. If I do any work on my computer, which I'm trying to avoid, I will put a red filter on the computer. So back into the house we go, and I'll show you guys, we'll turn on some red lights. Time for the red light special. Let's go. All right, guys, so little night walk post-dinner. I'm actually gonna go up on the roof and watch the last of the sunset here. Come on up on the roof with me and we'll go watch the last part of the day. From up here, you can see the whole view. There's the mountain behind my house. It's a little rainy tonight. Sun is setting over there, sets behind that mountain. And yeah, sometimes I come up here with friends and just chill out, watch the sunset. What we've got of it tonight, and this is the jump into the pool that you guys have seen before in the house tour. I'll put a link to the house tour video, but yeah, you can see the jump. I'm not gonna jump off it right now, but yeah, just hang out right here and watch the day fade away and then go put on some red lights in the house. Okay, so let's go in the house. It's right about 6 o'clock now. Dinner's done. Sun is setting. When I'm hanging out at home by myself or with friends, I don't use the overhead lights because they flicker. They're LEDs, so light emitting diodes. And there's a bunch of extra blue in the lights of the ceiling and the lights in most houses. Incandescent bulbs, which are coming back, are better in terms of blue light. They have a more full spectrum that mimics what you get outdoors. But remember, the sun doesn't flicker at all. And the sun is full spectrum light, ultraviolet, infrared, all of the visible colors. But most of the lights that you're gonna find in houses are enriched in blue. That's like that horrible fluorescent, LED, sort of like ultra blue light. And that blue light is a signal to your body that it's daytime. So that can mess with the production of melatonin in your suprachiasmatic nucleus in your brain. You don't want that before you go to sleep. So in my house at night, we get red. It's weird, right? It's all red rooms in my house. So I've put in these zero flicker LEDs. It's an LED, but it's zero flicker LED. It's a film grade LED, and it's a red light. There's no blue in this red light. So this is a light that's close to the floor. They're dim, and even a bright red light can interfere with your circadian rhythm. It's the brightness of the light and how much blue is in it. But a dim red light close to the floor is the easiest way to still move around and do things in your house at night without negatively affecting your circadian rhythm, negatively affecting your sleep quality. So when I'm hanging out in the house at night, as you'll see, I've only got red lights. I don't even use my overhead lights. If I were gonna rebuild a house, I would only put red lights in the whole house. That might be a problem in terms of resale, but that's okay. So it's almost dark, not completely dark, but I have this red light here, and I have these portable red lights that I'll use in my kitchen. If I'm cooking after dark, which happens if I'm out later with friends or something, or I'm moving around at dark cleaning, I'll use the portable red lights. And if I'm on my computer at night, I'll show you what I do. So the computer's here. So if I'm working late at night, you can see that there's a company called Iris. You can change it from a regular screen to a sleep screen. And the MacBook Pro display flickers pretty fast, which is actually not as stressful to your body as something that's flickering more slowly. LEDs flicker, I think, around 120 hertz, so 120 times a second. Your phone, which you can put on this red light mode as well, is flickering much more slowly. And your phone, I think, is going to be more disturbing to your circadian rhythm. The flickering is probably hard for our sympathetic nervous system. You ever been driving on the highway, you've seen those cars that have flickering headlights, like really kind of cheap cars have these flickering headlights. Maybe it's just more of a Costa Rica thing. You can't look away. It's very hard for us to look away from flickering lights. So, you know, on your phone, you can go from regular to this red light with triple click. I've done previous videos about that. I'll link to that in the description of this video, how to turn that in your settings so you can triple click between the regular and the red light on your phone. But I find that even if my phone is in this red light mode, if I'm looking at my phone much before I go to sleep, it's going to affect my sleep. So I try just to stop looking at my phone for at least an hour, preferably 2 before I go to sleep. I can do most of what I would do on my phone on my computer. So if I have to text people, I can do that on my computer. If I can do calls at night, I can do that on my computer. I'm just trying not to look at my phone. I'm preferably not looking at my computer even at night, but if I need to, I'll use the red light filter from Iris. When I'm not looking at my computer, when I'm done with all my work for the day, maybe I'll be here hanging out with friends, or if I'm hanging out by myself, I'll take one of the portable red lights. I like reading real books, right? So we'll put the portable red light here. Right now I got some Rick Rubin, The Creative Act. This is an amazing book. I'll chill out here and just read a book. Maybe I'll read poetry. I like Khalil Gibran, Rilke. I like Tom Robbins, who's a fiction writer. I'm digging this one from Rick Rubin. Most of what I'm reading is studies and stuff. So it's nice to get some fiction or just some easy reading or some, this is a book about creativity, but I'll just read the book at night with the red light and go from there. One of the things I hate the most is chilling out, winding down. I got my carefully curated, zero flicker, red lights in the whole house. And I go to open the fridge. And you might say, well, why are you in the fridge at night? Well, it usually gets dark around 5:45 or 6 p.m. in Costa Rica. So sometimes I go to get a drink of water, or I go to get a piece of fruit or some milk with honey before I go to sleep, and I have to open the fridge. And I hate how bright and blue the fridge is. So I found some red film on Amazon.
Dude.
Non-prepared.
In an alternate universe, this is like the fridge of a serial killer.
And I put this red film over the fridge here. So it's still probably flickering here, but at least my fridge is red and much darker than it would be. I can still see in the fridge, but I don't have this bright blue, obnoxious light smacking me in the face when I open the fridge at night. And again, I'm not opening the fridge at night a ton. It's just if I have to do that. I haven't figured out a way to fix the freezer yet. So if you open the freezer, oh, it's so ugly. It's horrible. Don't open the freezer at night. I'll tell you guys one more thing over here. You can see that if I were in a house with Wi-Fi, I would turn off the Wi-Fi at night before I went to sleep. But if you've seen my other videos, you know that my whole house is hardwired. This is the router, but I have Ethernet cords coming out of the router, so there's no Wi-Fi at my house. It's part of a zero RF EMF experiment. It's ongoing, but I would say subjectively, I may be biased. I like being in an environment with no Wi-Fi. It's one of the reasons I like being in Costa Rica versus the United States. So think about your Wi-Fi before you go to sleep as well. Even the microphone I'm using, we're using it off of Bluetooth mode. So these microphones can have a significant amount of EMF, RF EMF right on my skin. And if you don't plug this mic into the receiver on the phone or whatever you're using, you can have a zero EMF mic. It records directly to the mic, and then we sync the audio from the mic with the video that you're watching. So even this mic that I'm recording with is essentially zero EMF. I've thought about even that because I have a mic like this on me a lot, and I don't want something that's actually sending off as much RF EMF as your cell phone on my body for hours a day when I'm filming. So Wi-Fi, microphone, no EMF. So it's, you know, it's just after 6 o'clock here. I'm going to chill out for a little while, read a book, maybe talk to a friend on the phone without looking at the screen, just audio. And then when you guys, I'll see you guys in a little bit. I'm going to go brush my teeth, floss my teeth. I'm going to show you how I brush and floss. That's going to happen in the red light. And then I'm going to do a few more things that might surprise you before I go to sleep. So I'm in my bedroom. One thing that I have here is a cooling mat for my bed. I'm going to turn that on now and let it get cold. And then I'll lay in the cold bed before I go to sleep. one of the important things about falling asleep is sleeping in a cool environment. I'm in Costa Rica, so it's not terribly cold. I don't like to use air conditioning because I hate that recycled air. So I do have an open air just screen here in my bedroom, and I have a fan, and then I use a cooling mat on my bed. But I can feel that I will sleep better if I'm in a cool environment and I'm letting my body temperature cool down before I go to sleep. One of the things I do with my shower before I go to sleep in Costa Rica is I take a cool-ish shower, not a freezing cold shower. I don't want to get too cold. I don't want my body to be warming up from a cold plunge before I go to sleep, but I take a cool shower to drop my body temperature a little more because it's hot in Costa Rica most of the time. The other thing you can see here in my room is I've got the best I could do with like blackout curtains. I want my environment in my bedroom to be dark. You get the Halloween vibes now, guys. And I definitely do not have my phone near my bed while I'm sleeping. I charge my phone in a whole different room. My phone is on airplane mode all of the time when it's at my house because I actually have an Ethernet cord that goes to my phone. So my phone doesn't have any RF coming off it when I'm at my house, part of the experiment. And it's not charging near my bed. All I've got near my bed here are my earplugs. I'll show you guys later when I actually get into bed what I do, but I've just got an eye mask, which is a high-tech t-shirt that goes over my face. So I use an eye mask to darken the room even more. I have earplugs, and yeah, so we're gonna go brush teeth and do other stuff and get ready for bed. But yeah, this is part of my nighttime routine. Let's go. So this is the red light hygiene routine that I do every night, and it's always in the dark like this. I've got some floss. It is a silk floss. You might not be able to see it in the dark, but I don't use a regular floss because I don't want plastics. I don't want microplastics. I don't want PFAs, forever chemicals. So the silk floss is what I use to floss my teeth. I will use a bamboo toothbrush with boar's hair bristles because I've always wondered, microplastics are a big conversation right now. Nobody's talking about the plastics in the bristles of your toothbrush and the microplastics that are coming off of that right into your mouth. If you guys have seen any of my other content, you know that I don't use toothpaste. I would obviously never use fluoride in my toothpaste. I don't think humans need any more fluoride. Higher amounts of fluoride have been consistently correlated with lower IQ in kids. That came out recently. So don't give your kids fluoride in your tap water. Filter your tap water, guys. Filter your shower. And make sure that you don't have a fluoride toothpaste. But even a non-fluoride toothpaste just has things like SDS or flavors or colorings or things that I don't want in my toothpaste. Having bad breath is not an absence of toothpaste. It's a dysbiosis of your gut. So toothpaste is just a scam. I don't think humans even need it. I just brush my teeth by using water. There's no fluoride in the water at my house in Costa Rica because all of my water comes from a stream, actually. So, but if there's fluoride at your house in the water, I mean, a little bit of fluoride isn't the end of the world if it's on your toothbrush, but if you can filter your house, you probably should. And I've done other videos about shower filters. I definitely would avoid taking a shower in water that has chlorine and fluoride in it and other potential contaminants. So if you're in a place in the world where your water's not that clean, which is most municipalities in the United States, anywhere in the US, put a shower filter on it that's going to get rid of at least some of the chlorine, some of the heavy metals, and some of the other things in the shower water that you could absorb through your skin while you're showering. So that's my hygiene routine at night, guys. It's very complex. I've got silk floss and toothbrush with water. I have a very complex facial care routine. It consists of putting water on my face, and that's about it. And usually I'll just take a whole shower at night, and I don't even put water on my face. And as you guys know, if you've followed any of my other stuff, I don't even really use shampoo, conditioner, or soap. Everyone who hears that asks what I smell like. I'll leave it to you guys. Maybe if you see me in person, you can smell me, but I don't like fragrances. I don't like parabens. I don't like phthalates. I know there are some good tallow soaps out there now. If you can find a good soap, great. I just don't think it's necessary. And basically at the end of the day, I just want to rinse off the sweat from the day, maybe some dirt if I was down at the river or walking on a dusty road, but that's all I need to do. And I'm not really interested in massively disrupting my skin microbiome, and I don't need to get a bunch of oils out of my hair. Not using shampoo in my hair means that my hair doesn't get super oily because I haven't used shampoo in probably, I don't know, 7 years on my hair. If I'm doing something super professional and I absolutely don't want anyone to smell me, even though I basically smell like a human, I might use something like rubbing alcohol, apple cider vinegar, or a natural deodorant. But even natural deodorants, I don't love the smell of, and a lot of them can have stuff that I don't even want. So be careful of like the aluminum salt, the alum salt, crystal deodorants, which are full of aluminum. So it's hilarious to me that people have a natural deodorant. You can find it at Sprouts or Whole Foods, and it's basically an aluminum crystal that's gonna put aluminum into your armpits. That's a horrible thing. So I brushed, I flossed. I'm gonna take a shower now. We'll put the complete shower video behind the paywall. It's only $49.99 to see Paul take a shower. If you're not gonna pay that, let's go to the bed and I'll chill out. Okay, so after all of this nighttime routine, I've arrived at my bed. And you guys probably know this from my house tour, but we've got organic cotton or linen sheets, and I've got a silk pillowcase. That's about it. Nothing super exciting. So when I get into bed, I'm thinking about a couple of things. I've got the red light here, which I will leave on so you guys can actually see me. I may not even have the red light on at night. I've got earplugs, which I use at night because I don't like to hear anything. It helps me sleep. Again, I've put the cooling mat on the bed. And one thing that I'm thinking about is winding down. So I'm gonna give myself, if I want to fall asleep at 8:30, which is my usual, even 8:15, some days I'm even asleep at 8 o'clock. I know I'm real crazy here, guys, because I'm getting up super early to surf. I am gonna give myself at least 30 minutes in bed of the buffer. So I'm not expecting to fall asleep at 8:30 and getting in my bed at 8:29. So right now, it's about 7:30 and it's time to chill out. So I'm done for the day with everything. I'm not doing any more work. I'm not reading anymore. I'm basically just laying in my bed, but I lay in the bed a special way. If you guys don't know about this, I'm gonna change your world right now. So for about 10 or 15 minutes before I go to sleep, I kind of chill out like this, and I've got the cooling mat in the bed, and I lay with my feet against the wall like this. And this kind of like all this Venus return, all this legs against the wall really helps me chill out, and I get sleepy pretty fast. Sometimes I'll even nod off here, but I'm just kind of thinking about the day, kind of journaling in my head. And this technique though, of putting your legs up against the wall is pretty amazing for a nighttime routine. And then in the end, when it's time to go to sleep, I'll put the legs down, put the earplugs in, obviously get under the covers, depending how warm it is this night in Costa Rica, it's off to bed. There's a couple important things to think about here. If you have trouble falling asleep, I really think humans should fall asleep within 5 minutes, maybe 3 minutes of putting your head on that pillow. If you're not falling asleep within 5 minutes of putting your head on that pillow, you've got a problem with sleep. And I mean that in the most gentle way. You've got an issue with sleep that you need to fix. And the majority of those issues are connected with your light environment. This is why I do the red lights. This is why I don't look at my phone. This is why I don't look at my computer much before I go to sleep. And during the day, I'm thinking about not having caffeine, not having chocolate. I don't use those things anyway, but I'm getting enough exercise in the day that I have some degree of like fatigue from moving my body. I was out in the sun during the day. I had bright light in my eyes this morning. If you do all those things and you're eating a good diet, you should fall asleep so quickly. I think the majority of people who can't fall asleep quickly need to fix their light environment before they go to sleep. And everything I showed you in this video probably seems a little weird to you, but I think it's very valuable. And aligning your sleep is definitely going to impact so many things in your life. It will improve your libido, your sex hormones, your earnings at your job go up. There's studies that actually show that when you sleep more and you sleep better, you earn more at your job because you're going to perform better. So doing weird things at night is a great way to improve the quality of the rest of your life. And I got to tell you guys, like, I'm pretty sure your spouse, your girlfriend, your boyfriend is going to be into these red lights. Like, nobody is minding that there's these chill, moody red lights at night if you want to cuddle before you go to sleep. Most people are into it and they like how well they sleep and the kind of the mood it sets for whatever you want to do before you go to sleep. So that's what I'm thinking about before I go to sleep. If I'm not falling asleep right away when my head hits that pillow, it's almost always because I was at a restaurant and the lights were flickering and it was blue light and all kinds of other garbage that pissed me off and messed up my schedule. So that is my nighttime routine, guys. Again, it starts at the morning. So my nighttime routine starts tomorrow morning when I get up first thing and I see the sunlight. But tonight I took you through all these pieces. I showed you how I eat before I go to sleep. I showed you my after dinner walk. I showed you watching the sunset, avoiding blue light, being on your computer and your phone, using red lights, some nighttime hygiene, which is super simple, cooling your body down, a calm environment, a quiet environment, earplugs, a cool bedroom, a dark bedroom, and then getting to sleep and sleeping well. So hopefully this helps you guys with your nighttime routine. Let me know in the comments if you're adapting any of these into your life or if you think this is all crazy and send this to somebody you know who has a horrible nighttime routine and needs to get dialed so they can sleep better. So I'll see you guys in the next video.